Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to discuss Rain on the Roof, a poem in class 9 in Cbse syllabus. This poem is written by Cbse. Now first let me give you a brief introduction to Cbse. Cbse was an American lawyer and journalist, but he also took a keen interest in writing poems. And the product of that passion is this poem Rain on the Roof. Although he was a lawyer and journalist, when you read his poems, you will see how sensitive he was, how sensitive was his perception and realization of nature. Without wasting time, I will just move on to the poem because there is much to explain in each line. Just the very title of the poem, Rain on the Roof, what does it bring to your mind? A scenery of rain falling, and the rain is not falling on the ground. It is falling on the thatched roof. In the rural Bengal, if you go to the villages in Bengal, it is a very common scene in monsoon. The rain falls in pitter-patter drops on the thatched roof of the huts, and a melodious sound is created. Just that very picture flashes across our mind when we read the title of the poem, Rain on the Roof. Now we come directly to the main poem. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry sphere, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. So humid shadows. First, what is the meaning of the word humid? It refers to, just a second. The word humid, it refers to something which is full of moisture laden. Shadows refer to the clouds. So humid shadows refer to the moisture-laden clouds. The moisture-laden cloud or clouds full of moisture. They hover over all the starry sphere. What is the meaning of the word hover? Hover means to move around. Starry sphere. What does that mean, starry sphere? Starry sphere refers to the sky full of stars. The sky has a spherical shape according to geography. And in the night, the sky is studded with stars, studded, or embedded with stars, or it is covered with a blanket of stars. That is why the sky is referred to as starry sphere. So, the moisture-laden cloud equal to humid shadows hover or move around in the starry sphere of the sky. And the moment you see this, you are reminded of the arrival of rain. On such a rainy day when the sky is full of clouds, we all feel a bit nostalgic. Our hearts are filled with a strange sadness, whose reason you cannot analyze, whose reason you cannot detect, that why are we feeling sad? But on rainy days we do feel sad. And so the next line, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. Melancholy darkness. Now, darkness is a noun which means the absence of light, and melancholy means sad. When we couple these two words together, melancholy, sadness, it actually refers to the sad people, the people whose hearts have become sad on seeing the sky full of moisture-laden clouds. Their heart anticipates the arrival of rain and they become sad. So, melancholy darkness, this is a literary device in English which is called a transferred epithet. So melancholy is a noun, darkness is also a noun, but when these two are used, then it refers to sad people, and altogether different noun. Understood? It gently weeps in rainy tears. So as we see the cloud which is covered, the sky which is covered with clouds, we instantly feel that the sky is going to shed tears. And what is the name given to the tears shed by the sky? It is called rainfall. So rainfall is nothing but the tears shed, the copious tears, the profuse, as the sky weeps profusely, the copious tears shed by the sky is actually the rainfall. So rainfall is imagined to be the tears shed by the sad or disheartened sky. Rain is imagined to be the copious tears shed by the disheartened sky. What a bliss to press the pillow or of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. So the poet is lying on the cottage chamber bed. So what is the cottage chamber? The hut. Okay, the poet is lying on the cottage chamber bed, and just imagine yourself, rain is falling outside and you are inside on your bed. So you are going to press the pillow close to yourself to feel the warmth of the pillow and to enjoy the coziness as the rain falls outside. The same thing is happening here. The poet is pressing the pillow to his own chest, to his own head, whatever seems more comfortable to him, and he's enjoying the rain outside as he lies on the bed of the cottage chamber or the hut. And he lies listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. So the rain is not only falling outside the window, but it is also falling on the roof. And as the rain falls on the roof, the thatched roof of the hut, the pitter-patter sound of the rain reaches the ear of the poet. And he is mesmerized by the repetitive sound of the rainfall. I'll talk about the literary devices in details after I finish the poem. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start. So the shingle is the tile on the roof, this rectangular tile on the roof. So and what is tinkle? Is the soft ringing sound of the rain. So the rain falls in a soft ringing sound on the tiles on the roof. And as it falls, this creates an echo or a repetitive sound in the heart of the poet. And 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start. Who is the busy being? The poet. The poet's busy life, the hectic schedule, the poet engaged in a hectic schedule is actually a very busy person or busy being. But as the rain falls in light ringing sound on the tiles of the roof, the poet actually he's filled with many fancies or imagination. Different fanciful imaginations fill his mind. So they are the dreamy fancy, again a transferred epithet. Where dreamy is an adjective, fancy is a noun, but altogether dreamy fancy refer to people who love to dream. Dreamy fancies refer to people who cherish to dream. Okay? And these dreams, this fanciful imagination, they feel the soul of the poet. And 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into oof. So 1,000 memories, if you remember daffodils, they flash across my inward eye. So similarly, as it happened with Wordsworth, as he recollected the memory of the daffodils he had seen long back, similarly in this poem by Kurt Skinny, the poet also, he is indulging in reminiscence. Memories are flashing across his mind's eye. And as he indulges in this wonderful recollection or reminiscence, what happens? The recollections, the memories, they form a pattern that is formed in the loom by the threads. If you have been to any loom where the threads are woven into beautiful cloths, just as the threads are woven into beautiful cloths, here the fanciful imagination of the poet also form a beautiful design, a beautiful pattern, a mesmerizing pattern. The recollection, the memories of the poet also form a beautiful pattern, just as the threads are woven into beautiful clothes in the loom. As I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof, so as he listens intently, as he is absorbed in the sound of the rain falling on the roof in pitter-patter drops, his mind is indulging in reminiscence. He's recollecting the memories of the past. And this recollection forms a pattern, a design which is very similar to the pattern woven by the threads, formed by the threads woven to form a beautiful cloth. Okay? Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years agone, to regard the darling dreamers, ere she left them till the dawn. Oh, I feel her fond look on me, as I list to this refrain, which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. So as the poet indulges in memory, memorization, in recollection of past memories, as the poet indulges in reminiscence. The most prominent memory that flashes across his mind is that of his mother. He remembers his mother. What does he tell about his mother? In his childhood, in years gone by, in those long lost years of childhood, their mother, he had many siblings, and those siblings are here referred to as darling dreamers. So they used to sleep for a long time in the morning, and whenever it rained, the mother never used to wake them up from sleep. She used to enjoy seeing them sleeping. They used to sleep, enjoy the sleep, and the mother used to allow them to sleep. And when the mother finally came to wake them up, the poet can recollect her fond look upon his face, the affectionate look of the mother looking at him, the affectionate look of the mother at him. He can recollect that, okay? And he could also feel his mother through the rainfall. As I list is the short form of listen. This is a poetic license used by the poet. The poet has the liberty to change any word according to his own wish in order to fit the rhythm of the poem. So list is such a poetic license exercised by the poet to the refrain. What is a refrain? Refrain is actually a literary device. It means lines which are repeated at the end of each stanza. Okay, like stopping by the woods on a frosty evening, you have a refrain in this poem. At the end of each stanza, the same line is repeated. Like anaphora is the beginning of the line, the word in the beginning of the line. Similarly, refrain is the last lines of the stanzas. Here, refrain refers to repetitive sound. So, repetitive sound of what? Rainfall. In the first stanza, see echo. Echo is also a repetition. Refrain is also a repetition. So, what is being repeated? The sound of the rainfall falling on the roof, which is played upon the shingle by the patter of the rain. So, what is the refrain formed of? It is formed of the sound of the rain falling on the roof. It is the sound of the rain falling on the shingles or tiles of the roof. Now there is a very interesting thing in this poem, that is, just as the rain is falling on the roof and the repetitive sound is creating an impact on the poet. Similarly, the literary devices in this poem are also being repeated in each stanza. The set of literary devices: alliteration, personification, transferred epithet, onomatopoeia. See how. First stanza. In the first stanza, humid shadow, hover, alliteration, HH, starry sphere, SS. What is alliteration? It is this repetition of sound in the beginning of the initials of the letter. I'll talk about the difference between alliteration, assonance and consonance in some other video. Okay, next stanza, again you see busy being, once again another busy being. Then you see their thread, rain roof, another alliteration, 3 alliterations, second stanza. Third stanza you see darling dreamers. These are again, so as you memory comes my mother, so you see memory mother, so alliteration in each stanza. Now transferred epithet. First I told you melancholy darkness, referring to sad people, dreamy fancy, referring to people who dream, right? And last stanza, darling dreamers, referring to the siblings of the brother who used to sleep for long and dream before their mother would, or rather until their mother would wake them up. Darling dreamers, it's a very important question which comes. Darling dreamers refer to the siblings of the poet who used to sleep for long and dream until their mother used to wake them up. Okay, again personification. Here darkness is being personified, we can say, in the first stanza. Now onomatopoeia. What is onomatopoeia? Onomatopoeia is a sound word, a word which actually brings the impression of a sound. In the first stanza you see patter. Second stanza again patter. Third stanza again patter. So patter is actually the rainfall falling on the roof. Pitter patter raindrop. Okay, so we are having this same literary device which is repeated in every stanza. Onomatopoeia, transferred epithet, alliteration. So from this we can understand how minute, how cautious, how meticulous an observer the poet is. The rain sound is being repeated. The literary devices, he has written the poem on rain in such a manner that the literary devices we see are also being repeated in each stanza. Isn't this fascinating? The content of the poem, that is the rain, it is being repeated. The sound of the rain is repetitive. The sound of the rain is creating an echo and refrain in his heart. The sound of the rain itself is repetitive, and the literary devices used in the poem are also repetitive. Alliteration, transferred epithet, onomatopoeia. Isn't this very fascinating? Now, have you understood what is transferred epithet? Transferred epithet is when we have one adjective, one noun, but together coupled, they refer to altogether a different noun. Melancholy darkness, sad people, dreamy fancies, people who dream, darling dreamers, people who love to dream. Again, here referring to siblings of the poet. So in the first stanza we see the cloud, the sky is covered with moisture-laden clouds, and the poet who is lying on the bed, pressing the pillow close to himself, trying to feel the coziness of the lovely weather outside. He's listening to the rain falling on the roof in pitter-patter sound. Second stanza, he is inspired to indulge in reminiscence or recollection. And finally, fanciful imaginations fill him. Okay, and in the last stanza, he recollects the memory of his mother, who used to lull them to sleep and allow them to sleep for a long time until she woke them up. Finally, with an affectionate look, and he's recollecting the affectionate look of his mother. Here I am reminded of a poem by Tarashankar Bandopadhyay called Ma. Same feeling, the poet was recollecting the memories of his mother. I will discuss about the literary devices used in this poem and some other abstract or value-based questions in some other video. Okay, hope whatever I discussed would give you a basic preliminary idea of this poem. Thank you, students, and let me know what more you need in the comment section of the video. And if you like, do like, share and subscribe.